and welcome to the Bullcast Podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, and with me is Court Winsett.
I'm not important today, Katie.
Oh, but you know who is important?
Who?
Cam Spann.
I'm important? Does that mean this is my episode?
It is Cameron's episode. You know, one of the big things that we do, Katie, here, beyond just, stock pointers and stock tips and bonds and so forth, we're not just your everyday stock broker. We're a full-service financial planning, legal, and accounting firm. And, of course, one of the things that we come across a lot when we're doing, especially when we do financial plans, is we have a lot of clients who have small businesses, startups that they're doing. We felt like an interesting aspect of sort of your money and how your money works would be to sort of focus on something that we don't talk about a lot for small business owners, big business owners, whatever, what Cameron does for us and sort of let him focus in on an element of running your business that some people probably give a lot of thought to and some people probably don't give much thought to at all. Mm-hmm. And that would be branding.
So it's kind of like the Bull. This is Bullcast, and we also have Bull Talk, Bull TV, all the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
And there actually was an April Fool's joke that went out that we were getting rid of the Bull and we were going to start doing the Pig.
The Pickler Pig.
The Pickler Pig. And that was actually a real logo that Cam created because Memphis does have Barbecue Fest. So that was a real logo, but it was interesting the comments of some of our clients going, "Oh, okay, y'all are going to start being pig talk now," and that doesn't sound as cool.
Swine time.
Doesn't sound as cool as Bull Talk, Bullcast, Bull, whatever. So, yeah. Cam, it's your episode.
And what I learned from that April Fool's post is people like the Bull. We're not getting rid of the Bull.
Yeah, the Bull goes everywhere, and the Bull has different outfits and, different
He's like
personas.
a Barbie doll. He's like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Barbie doll.
He's got his own outfit. Or G.I. Joe. He's got his own outfits. He
does.
You just dress him up however you want.
But this was also a presentation that, on the last episode, if you listen, we talked about, we went to Hawaii and went and talked to a group down there. And Cam gave this presentation on the importance of branding and how it really does go back to your financial success of your business, whether you're a Fortune 500 company or just a small mom and pop place trying to get started. And so we're going to do several of those sessions that we gave in Hawaii. We're going to do an episode on it. But so, yeah, Cam, it's yours. Take it over.
I get to be the guinea pig. Yay. Y'all ready to talk branding?
Are you ready for this?
Oh, baby. You know it.
Okay, so for our listeners, when I'm not producing this podcast, I am Chief Branding Officer of Pickler Companies. No, I do not brand cattle.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow down exactly what that title holds, but it's kind of like brand advocate, marketing, communications, designer, all those things in one.
He wears many hats.
Yeah. So in today's podcast, I hope to discuss a few things like what is branding, differentiating branding from marketing, and maybe how you can grow your brand.
Nice. I'm excited.
Yum.
Awesome. What do you guys think of when you hear branding? Like what word or concept? There's no wrong answer.
I mean,
Your image?
Yeah.
More often than not, I just think of marketing. And so it's probably good that you're going to go over for everybody the difference between branding and marketing because I always just go straight to marketing.
Yeah. It's kind of a blend of those, actually. Y'all gave good answers. So a lot of people think branding is your logo and just your logo, and that's not it. That's just one piece to the puzzle. So branding is your story, how you tell it, how customers feel when they leave your business. We're going to get into that a little bit, but it's a business strategy that is used to develop solid relationships. That's a good way to break it down, right? So your brand sets you apart from your competition and gives your customer a reason to buy from you.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty nifty, huh?
Well, and that makes sense when you think about it, like especially with clothing. Like it's all about, are you a name brand person? So that really rolls into everything, though.
That's exactly right. And the other side of the coin is you can have your personal brand. Like
Yeah.
Katie, you have a brand. Court, you have a brand. We all have brands. So,
What does your brand say about you, Court?
Honestly, I can't even imagine what my brand is. I
Polar
think
bears and pugs.
the way I think that people perceive me is apparently not the way that they actually perceive me. So
I'd say your brand is stoic, kind of dry sense of humor.
yeah,
And pugs.
That court patented stoicism is
Katie, what's your brand?
I don't know.
High heels?
Yeah. I would like to think it's bubbly and friendly and energetic and creative, but
I would agree with that.
yeah, who knows?
one more important thing to remember when it comes to branding is your brand is the promise you make to your customers. So promise is the key word there. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Let's do
Deep
it.
dive.
All right. Brand is all about first impressions. You want to
Okay.
make a good first impression, right? You've heard that growing up.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Yeah. You want when somebody leaves your business to have that warm and fuzzy feeling or just of any kind of positive feeling, right?
Again, I know we're sort of going off business here, but Robin and I over the weekend watched Hitch.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Hitch is all about that. Hitch is all about the, yeah, no kidding. The star of that movie might be one Will Smith, who just recently slapped somebody. But
the slap heard around the world.
his whole sort of idea is kind of all about that first impression, is making that first impression on a person. But that's human interaction. But everybody takes away something from that first whatever it is, first kiss, first interaction, first handshake, first time you walk into a store. You know, there's always something. There's always that first thing, and that can stick with people a lot.
That's right. For better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hope I'm not stealing your thunder, Cam, but it's the first impression with a business is if, they set an appointment, like what is their first interaction? Or if they come in to buy a product from your place or to have an appointment, like who are they greeted with? What is the feeling? Like, does the office smell funky? Like, are they offered a glass of water? Like what, those are all things that are like devil in the details, which my event planning company is Pickler Events. It's all in the details because the details are what I think matter and a lot of times get muddied and it's all just like, oh no, we're just here to sell pizza. But you got to have
Who's
that.
selling pizza? I want some pizza.
But you're right. Details are incredibly important. Every business should focus on the small details, but a lot of them don't. So differentiating logo from branding, like I said earlier, they are not the same. In fact, they work harmoniously. So I found this nifty little graphic. So your brand is the perceived emotional corporate image as a whole. Your identity is visual aspects that form part of the overall brand. And your logo identifies a business in its simplest form. And that's my favorite part of creating logos, is telling a robust story in the most simplified form possible. It's really fun.
So that's why it's important to spend time on your logo and not just, and some money because it's going to hopefully represent who you are and then be carried forward forever and ever and always.
Amen. So when y'all see the Mercedes logo, what do you guys think of? What comes to mind? It's probably not
expensive.
Yeah, it's probably not cheaply made or
No.
falls apart, right?
Right. No,
No.
it's definitely,
Luxury.
luxury,
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, that's-
I think mostly of expensive first, probably.
And that's good brand storytelling. Mercedes has built that over years and years and years.
Cars for sure send a certain message. It sends their culture kind of just from looking at their logo. Like I know Subaru sends kind of more of an outdoorsy, kind of
Granola,
granola
yeah.
type life. And you're like, yeah, good, solid outdoorsy car.
Yeah, growing up, I always assumed Kia was cheaply made. That was just kind of the perception.
Yeah.
But they recently rebranded, I think, to get rid of that stigma. And their cars are looking pretty good too. Have you seen Kias lately?
Yeah, there was an interesting Kia I saw the other day that had it had no top, guys. It had no top, and I was looking at it going, is that a? And when I walked past it, I was like, oh, that's a Kia without a top. That was a topless Kia. It's weird.
Hashtag topless Kia.
Topless Kia.
I mean, that kind of, it just kind of felt like hey, let's throw some stuff in the back of the Kia and go for some foresting or something. I don't know. It wasn't the here, let's toss the kids in the car and go to a movie. It was, it was a little bit more outdoorsy kind of.
So rounding out the idea of first impressions, when someone's driving past your billboard or sees your logo on a marketing material, you don't want them to dry heave from a bad experience,
No.
right?
Yeah, well,
You
yeah,
want them
obviously.
to have good feelings.
Right.
First impressions are important. If you take away one thing from this podcast, it's that.
First
Hey.
impressions matter.
So digging deeper into what a brand is, it lives in the heart and the mind. I pointed to my heart when I said mind and my mind when I said heart. But it's not the tangible things. It's intangible. It's not your brick and mortar. It's your vision statement, your mission statement, how you treat customers, all these intangible things that combine into your brand.
So
I mean, but
really-
you could.
Go ahead. Corey.
Sorry. Well, it's just interesting. You could, for instance, Apple. The Apple store, their brick and mortar store, is very much a part of their brand. I mean,
Sure, yeah. It plays a part of it.
It's not everything, but it is definitely a part of it. You know, it's so sometimes a store may just be a store, but then you have places like Apple where you walk in and you know you're in an Apple store.
Yeah, that plays into it. Their brand is also innovation. Actually, this is a good time for the branding game. And you actually heard my presentation in Maui, so you may be cheating here. All right, so Apple, when it comes to their brand, what is it not? Their brand is not computers, phones, software. What would you say their brand is?
You know, they're disruptors, they're innovators. They think outside the box. They throw
Cutting
hammers.
edge.
That's exactly right. And empowering people. So you hit all the keywords I had in my presentation plus empowering people. All right, Coca-Cola's next. It is not.
Polar bears.
Yeah, it's not. It's not polar bears. It's not carbonated beverages.
Should be polar bears.
It should be.
It should be.
It's making a difference and creating a better shared future. That's straight from their website.
Yeah, because there's a lot of it is about share a Coke with somebody or like making memories and
recycling and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And the last one is FedEx. Mm-hmm. It is not shipping. It is not printing. What do you think it is?
connection, maybe? Connecting people?
That's good. Court, you have any idea?
I don't really.
Reliability and making a world of difference.
Ah, nice.
And I know a lot of these seem pie in the sky, but these little mission statements or vision statements really drive a company.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting, you know, even now as we're discussing this and talking about how brand is not marketing and so forth, when you ask me what is FedEx, the first thing that comes to my mind is when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That was a slogan of theirs
That's right.
from a while ago, but I guess it still still sort of speaks to their brand.
It does.
Well, and in their logo, they've got the hidden arrow.
That's right. One
And so
of my favorite logos.
Yeah, there's a lot of like logos. Like they have the hidden arrow. Amazon has the arrow that goes from A to Z, so it's like you can get everything there.
Which is also a smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but my point that I was going to say earlier is when you talked about those intangibles, is for you that may be listening that have like a small business, or maybe it's even a medium-sized business or a large business, that what I take away from you talking about the intangibles that really make a difference in your brand is things that you can do that do not cost much, if any, money.
That's right.
That it is stuff that you can put some time and thought into to make a difference, make an impact, but you're not having to throw a bunch of capital at it.
Those two words are important, time and thought. Yeah, you got to spend money on a logo. Logos are really important, blah, blah, blah. But time and thought, you have to spend time to create your brand. So branding versus marketing. We've talked a little bit about it. But a brand is the soul of the business and refers to the perception customers have about you. Like I said, it's the intangibles. Transcending a logo, a storefront, and features, successful branding tells individuals on the outside what makes a business tick on the inside. That came directly from me. Do you like it?
I like it. I like that.
Okay, so on the other side of the coin, marketing is based on customer needs. It's all about developing a product, demand, and satisfying your target market. So, David Pickler told me this. This really helped me understand. Branding is a pull, and marketing is a push.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Branding is strategy, and marketing is tactics. It's a tactical thing. So branding is the overall idea, what do you want to accomplish, and marketing are the individual things you do to achieve that overall goal.
Yeah. And I would think that nowadays with so much, social media and so much present out there that if someone was to really focus on branding and telling their story, then they wouldn't have to do as much marketing, because them telling their story, others would do marketing for them essentially by referring them and talking about them and talking about how they feel about these businesses.
You hit it right on the head, Katie. So one of my favorite quotes about branding is from Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder. In Maui, we talked a lot about Jeff Bezos because I think he has a yacht permanently parked there at all times.
So.
But he said, your brand is what customers say about you when you're not in the room. Mm-hmm. And I think that just sums it up perfectly.
So brand and reputation go hand in hand.
They sure do.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your brand, you can't really force into people, tell them what to think. I mean, that's up to people when they leave your business. So when you're not in the room, what are they whispering to others about you? Hopefully it's positive things.
Well, and that's what you can tell about brand for sure, because when you've heard of these scandals happening with companies, then it's their brand. We may say their reputation is tarnished. It's their brand that's tarnished, and it's hard for them to get out from underneath it. And a lot of them don't survive that. But then it may be that they have to go back to the drawing boards, really put some thought and time into it, and figure out how they're going to launch themselves telling their story despite what had happened.
Sure. You ready to talk about voice?
Yeah, let's hear about the voice.
This is the voice. No.
No.
I'm an American Idol kind of guy.
Oh, I don't know what the theme song for that is.
Yeah, it's more of a noise.
Yeah.
So your voice is the personality your brand takes on, whether that be on your website, social media, marketing materials, and your speeches, all of that stuff. Do either of you follow Wendy's, the fast food account, on Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter. I don't do the tweets. But I read articles where basically people summarize what Wendy's has done, and they'll just it's articles that are completely entirely devoted to just Wendy's owning people.
Their voice, in quotes, it's catty, it's funny, it's irreverent. Every brand has a voice, and you have to decide what that voice is going to be. So going back to Wendy's, they'll have an annual roast day where followers and even big brands, they'll tweet at Wendy's and say, roast me. And Wendy's will light them up. And it works. So it shows your voice doesn't have to be serious if you're a multi-billion-dollar company.
If you've got an established, that Wendy's, people are going to get, Wendy's have been around for so long. Everybody's going to go get your Frosty and your little junior cheeseburger.
So as a business owner, as an employee, an employer, doesn't matter. You have to be confident in what your brand voice is. For instance, the Pickler voice. Our unique value proposition is our family delivering solutions for your family. Mm-hmm. So solutions and family, I bake that into our voice. Everything we say on social media, we feature our staff members. That's part of family. We feature clients. Mm-hmm. We're strong, dependable. We're all about communication, Bullcast, Bull TV, Bull Talk, transparency. All these little words I bake into our voice, and I make sure it's always there.
And that's kind of why it's important to, if you do have multiple people running your social media accounts, making sure they keep consistent that voice. And it can't be that a consumer can tell, oh, well, I think this person wrote that and somebody else wrote that. And that's where sometimes I'll hijack Bullcast and I always have to tell Cam, I'm sorry if this doesn't sound like the voice.
This is the voice. Now it's stuck in my head, Corey. Yeah. So let your voice be heard. Developing an authentic voice aligned with company branding develops trust and recognition with audiences. Trust is super important. It's hard to gain, and it is easy to lose. Mm-hmm. Your voice allows key stakeholders to get a clear sense of company values, and it connects audiences more deeply to brand messaging.
It's a great opportunity for you to tell your story and just tell the story you want to tell. Yeah, you may be a gym owner or a sandwich shop owner, but what do you want to tell? This is a place for you to come with your loved ones and share a meal, or this is a place for you to be free and be your best self.
Exactly.
Whatever you want it to be. The possibilities are endless. And call Cam.
Shameless plug.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about growing your brand. And I'm going to loop you guys into this. Branding is one of the most important activities your business can engage in, if you guys haven't picked up on that already. Building a strong and recognizable brand will help you connect with your existing customers, sell to new ones, and encourage loyalty. So I found this list on Forbes of top business leaders when it comes to growing your brand. So I'll jump on the first one, and you want to go round robin?
Cool.
All right, number 1, do a values check. Branding isn't about your logo, as you guys heard me say. It's about your message, what you're broadcasting to the world. First, check in with your own values. Does the wording and look and feel on your website, social media profiles, and materials match up with those values? A couple years ago, our entire team sat down for a few hours to really flesh out our unique value proposition. Mm-hmm. And it's important as part of our culture to get everyone's input and merge it into one succinct message. So our family delivering solutions for your family. Yeah. Do a values check.
Well, and let me just throw this in there. That also includes that your employees are living and breathing that as well. You want to make sure you have the right people on your team to help spread that message and those values.
Yeah, nobody wants a Debbie Downer or negative Nancy.
Okay, number 2, know thyself and align. The most fundamental part of branding is truly understanding who you are so that you can align all of your actions in your environment. The deeper your understanding of values, vision, and other brand attributes, the better able you are to align all parts of your life consistent with your brand. You are the most critical part of your branding strategy.
That's exactly right. And one thing I didn't hit on, this is with my logo creations, but also branding, is consistency. Mm-hmm. You have to use it over and over again the same way, or it will get lost, or you'll forget what you're doing.
And people won't recognize it. The red bullseye, that's Target. It could even be half of the logo, and you're like, that's a Target bag over there.
Yeah.
Like, you recognize it.
Imagine at Pickler Companies if every few months we got a new logo or changed our messaging, people would have no idea what we're all about. No. And they would lose trust in us. Like, you guys don't know what you're doing.
You're wishy-washy.
So you're wishy-washy. I'm going somewhere else.
Interesting. Okay, so look, check this out. The first one was do a values check, and it's about checking in with your own values and your message and so forth. The second one was know thyself and align. And the most fundamental part of branding is truly understanding who you are so that you can align all of your actions. Cameron and Katie are sounding wise. Their message is pure. It's beautiful. Now mine. Use great photos.
It's important.
It's so important.
Especially with like Instagram and all of that. Like, people do not have time anymore to read long things. They just want to have a quick, like, something to grab their attention.
Yeah, and we live in such a visual culture. You need photos and graphics. What's the idiom? A picture is worth
1,000 words.
There it is.
Yep.
So a great picture is worth 1,000,000 words?
Yeah, let's make that.
So most small businesses are personal brands, meaning you are the face of your brand. So that's for small businesses. So if that's the case, use photos of you that reflect your personality and style to make sure your website and brand stand out from the crowd online. So that way you'll attract your ideal clients and you'll get your message across with hopefully less effort.
That's right.
No.
Don't use shoddy headshots.
No, don't use stock photos. Like, at the end of the day, people really want to see themselves. And so if you highlight your clients and obviously have permission, but if you show real people, then people are going to be like, oh, well, I want to be the 50th person in line and get my picture on the website. Like, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, our most successful social media campaigns feature our team and our clients. Like, we have an initiative going on right now called Oh, the Places You'll Go, where clients pick up a PWA flag, they take it on their trip with them, hold it up, take a picture, send it to us, and then we post it. We'll have a drawing at the end of the year, and we will award the winner $1,000 for their favorite charity.
And so that person that then has posted then can share it on their accounts, and then somebody looking at it might be like, well, what's Pickler Wealth Advisors? Let me check this out. And then it kind of draws them back, and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Unless Cameron puts pictures of the troll on the website or on the Instagram feed, and then people just run away screaming and crying.
Are you calling yourself
cry.
a troll?
I've made children
cry. You are not a troll. It's a camera distortion. You're always on the edge. All right, number 4, be true to you. This is probably one of my favorites. It's all about being authentic to who you are, the values you have, and the skills you excel at. Nobody wants to see fakeness. Be authentic. Authenticity is imperative to branding success. Avoid pressure to constantly reinvent yourself or overstate and inflate your message. A simple articulation of who you are and what you are good at, shared succinctly and clearly, will suffice to nail down your brand. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, know who you are, but don't try and portray who you're not, because people can read through that. And just most people in this day and age, honesty seems to be so rare that if someone comes to you and, wants something or needs something, and you are just like, you know what, that's not who we are, but here's somebody who may be able to help you with that. That goes so much further than just trying to say, oh yeah, I can do that, and you have no business handling whatever that would be.
That's right. And when you hear me say authentic and you hear Katie say honest, that doesn't mean you can't brag on yourself. Bragging on yourself is important if it's done well. Like, here's some awards our company have won. Here's what we're doing in the community. That goes a long way.
Absolutely. Okay, number 5, become the media.
I like this one.
Yeah, it's so important because, and before I read these notes, when I was at JDRF, the nonprofit, then a lot of it was, oh, we're doing this wonderful event, or we're honoring this person. Let's call the media. And, you'd call them, you'd spend all these hours doing it, and you never know if they're going to show up or not. So what this one is saying is social media, camera phones, podcast has given us amazing opportunities to build and expand our brands. Whatever it is you want to be known, you can get the message out faster, bigger, and better by becoming the media. No need to wait for that news anchor to show up or that media camera to get there and record. You control it. And then if they miss out on it, it's on them.
Yeah, and if media does show up, you're kind of relying on them to tell the story you want them to tell. But if you are the media, you can say the exact story, the exact message you want to get out there.
Okay, so just as an example, and remaining completely apolitical I'm not trying to get into a big political conversation, but the perfect example of somebody who just did that 100% in the last, 4 or 5 years is Donald Trump. He absolutely just he took
Controlled
over
his
his
own media.
own message.
He sure did, yeah.
I mean, he said what he wanted to say. His followers went straight to him, got what his perspective was on stuff from Twitter, and that was it. Boom. It didn't matter what anybody else was saying.
He found his niche, his niche. His niche? What do y'all say?
Niche.
And I think that's actually one of these points coming up, but he found it.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of, playing to some of the fun pop culture shows like Olivia Pope on Scandal, and like there's a lot of shows like that are fixers. But what do? They become the media. They control the message they want to get out. So if there is something bad that happens or something good, you get ahead of the game and you control what is out there before anything else can portray the message for you.
Number 6, improve your culture. Okay. Culture is a big word. Yeah, it's a big buzzy buzzword. It's all over the place. People are always talking about culture, and what does culture really mean? Culture is so important, and I don't think really many companies actually understand and succeed in developing the culture that they want. A lot of times you'll have companies that think they have culture one way, and then if you talk to the rank and file employees, culture is completely different than whatever it is you're saying. So make sure your culture is what you want it to be, and make sure that if it's bad that you improve it, because it sends out a message. Not just it's your culture is going to be what your staff and what your employees are putting out into the world. So it's sending a message out to the world, whether you want it to or not, of what your company is like. And if that culture is good and positive, then your employees will be putting out good and positive messages into the world. And if it's negative, then it's gonna reflect negatively on you.
Right. How would you guys define culture, just personally? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Culture, I usually think like your values or your family and just kind of your beliefs, honestly.
Yeah, for me, I think it would be maybe like a unifying message for an entire team, unbiased.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean like the boss doesn't think it's good culture, and then you ask the employees and they think it's bad. I think everyone rallies around one idea or belief.
Yes, but then again, that speaks absolutely to what I was just saying. Culture is not about, it's not just about a message, because you can all day long, you can be sending out the message that our culture is about happiness. But if your culture is actually misery, then it doesn't matter how many times you say your culture is happiness. It's actually going to be misery. So it's a lot more. Culture is beliefs. It is behavior. It is everybody actually backing up their words with deeds, and actually it's walking the walk as much as anything.
Walk the walk, talk the talk.
That's right. Well, this is an interesting conversation because culture is very similar to brand. A lot of it is the intangibles. Yeah. Kind of that warm and fuzzy. Hopefully your culture is warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's maybe more of my internal, but I feel like especially like the three of us, and I think several people in our office have the culture or the belief of the work hard, play hard philosophy. And that's why, when we posted the pictures of us in Hawaii and everybody's like, oh yeah, it looks like y'all had fun. Like we had that work hard, play hard philosophy, that we are all dedicated to our clients, dedicated to our work, and know that there's, reward that comes with it, because we're going to have that family balance and understanding that our culture is family is first. That means family of our clients, but family of each employee's personal. And so we all have that synergy that we know if someone's got to be out because of a family emergency, we're going to step in and make sure their things are taken care of for them. And so I think we're kind of that family and work hard, play hard philosophy.
That's right. You kind of took the words out of my mouth. Sorry, we're lingering on culture here, but I just think it's an interesting conversation. Yeah, I was going to talk about the Pickler culture, but you hit on a lot of it. Hey, clients come first. That's the priority in our culture. Also, communication, not just with clients, but with each other. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to go to a manager, and that manager goes to the another manager. We can all go straight to David Pickler, our boss. Mm-hmm. So I think think that's really neat.
Well, it's interesting. One of the things that you said in your notes here, Cameron, was that it is your company's soul.
Yeah.
Culture is your company's soul, so it's worth paying attention to because it's the soul. I'm not sure 100% I know what that means, but I like it.
And I think it also, sorry to keep diving on this, but like culture is so important on the culture you have with your clients, your customers, but also the culture you have within your staff. And so if there's a rotten egg within your staff, then that can impact the entire internal culture.
Yeah, it's like an infection that grows.
Yeah. And so you need to, those that may be in the leadership role need to be aware of what's happening and having those communications, because one bad egg can make everybody sour.
All right, let's move it.
All right, number 7, niche. It's time for the niche.
Niche.
Defining your niche. You can't be all things to all people. I think that boils it down well. I found this cool Venn diagram, the circles that overlap. Mm-hmm. And there's this one, it's 4 circles that kind of build out a square. And one of them is your passion, the other is your strengths, then your audience's needs, then your vision. And in the middle where they all overlap is your niche. So narrow your target market by either offering a specialized product or service or by serving a specific demographic. For example, busy moms who want to find a healthy work-life balance versus anyone who wants to find a healthy work-life balance. There's a reason brain surgeons get paid more than general practitioners.
And I think that's kind of going back to don't try and be who you're not. I have heard, David say this in several meetings. I've started saying this to some people that we are not everybody's financial advisor. We're not the right fit for everybody, because there are just certain situations, like someone who wants to be an active trader and calling in every, couple of minutes or so, oh, buy this, sell this, do that. We're not your person, because we want to think about your overall picture. We want to think about your dreams and goals and make sure that we're in it for the long haul or whatever set goal you have in mind. And so we'll tell you that straight up, like, look, we can help you with this aspect of it, but that is something that you'd be better off working with somebody else. And so I think that's kind of defining your niche, figuring out what you are, and outsource if you need to.
Oh yeah, we absolutely here at Pickler Wealth Advisors, we know what our sweet spot is, and we're pretty good at nailing that sweet spot.
That's right, Katie. I want to dive a little bit deeper into what you were saying about hopes and dreams. For instance, on our client profile questionnaire, when we're onboarding any client or financial planning clients, we ask them, what are your top dreams? What are your hopes? What do you want to do before you die? And some people may say, oh, that's a little too pie in the sky. That's weird. But it's important to us because we want to know where you see yourself in the future. What do you want to get accomplished?
Yeah. I mean, that's that questionnaire. Some people definitely go, oh, no. And because there's even a question on there is, you just got the diagnosis that you're only going to be able to live for a couple of months. What do you wish you had done? And that really it goes into behavioral psychology and really diving down what's important, because what they tell you in that question is like, okay, that is what's keeping them up at night. We talk about the tummy factor, because a lot of people, when they first come to you, they say, oh, I want help with my taxes, or I want help opening up a retirement account. But it's, peeling the onion. It's going deeper and figuring out what they actually really want. And that's where kind of like our sweet spot is that we keep asking questions. We're not transactional. We're relationships.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 8.
Meet your audience where they are. If you want to be unique, get your branding right. You hear that? If you want to be unique, get your branding right. Address your target market in the places they hang out with the messages they expect to hear, using the distribution methods and mediums they like. Like, so for example, don't advertise on the back of the bathroom stall in that shady bar. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Those advertisements. I'm always like, do people just sit in here and like, do they get a lot of business from this? Yeah.
I mean, those advertisements are much better placed when they're right above the urinal.
I was just about to say.
Well, for a female, they're in the stall, okay?
Yeah, nothing like a business card pinned right above the urinal.
So it's a simple formula that many do not follow. Your brand is your identity, and once you have that set, you can get creative with the rest. That's just important to remember. And I love the graphic that Cam's got on here. It's just kind of the thumbprint and showing your brand is your identity.
Now, Court, this next one that you have, These aren't numbered in importance, but this is probably my favorite or one of the most important.
Why don't you take it?
No. I want Court to savor it.
Basically, I think what Cameron was saying was, now, Court, you need to take this one seriously.
Yeah.
It's serious time, Court.
Don't screw it up.
Okay, so the next one is make your brand human. Now, think of your brand as a real person, but bigger. We often make the mistake of thinking our brand, thinking of our brand too broadly. We often make the mistake of thinking of our brand too broadly. So broad translates as vague and forgettable. You know, we're love, we're whatever. You know, it's just sort of some vague pie in the sky hope. So you want it to be more specific than that. So think about the brands that you remember. They're human and they're real. They get stuck in our minds because they touch on a part of ourselves that we didn't think anyone else could see.
I think that also ties into authenticity, what we hit on earlier.
Yeah.
There's a little graphic here of a man holding a heart, and around it is purpose, story, empathy, personality, and authenticity. Mm-hmm. I think those are the ingredients you need for making your brand human. What are some brands?
I mean, I don't necessarily...
Tony the Tiger.
They're great.
That's an anthropomorphized tiger. Not only that, but he's a cartoon, not human at all.
He's real to me.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
No, I don't. You know, it's interesting that this point of yours, Cameron, make your brand human. There are some very successful brands that I don't necessarily think of as human. I don't think of Apple as human, you know, really speaking to humanity. I think of it as
I do.
Sterile. And
yeah, that's part of their aesthetic is sterile when you go into their store.
Yeah.
But all of their messaging, their keynotes, their technology, it's all about advancing humans. Like the Apple Watch, it's all about health. And like, if you fall, it will call 911. You know, it's little things like that they do that makes it human to me. I'm not saying it has to be human to you. It's all personal preference.
Well,
but
I mean, see previous point that we said where you know your audience or whatever it was.
Well, and maybe you change it that it's not necessarily human, but it's identified on its own. It's a standalone. Like, you know, the FedEx logo is a standalone, or, you know, the MTV logo, that was alive to me. That in itself had so much energy behind it. And yeah, they would tweak it and change the color schemes and stuff, but that just sent something.
That's right. When I see that logo, I think of spring break.
Well, it's like the Playboy Bunny. Like, that logo sent a significant image and was a standalone. When that was put on a t-shirt or plastered up on a billboard, you knew that what that was.
Right. All right, number 10, rounding out this list, give your wisdom away. And we believe in this at Pickler Companies. We do this a lot. So branding is not a trick. It's who you are. The best strategy is to just do what you do. And if you do it well, people will want more. And I say education plays an enormous role in client engagement.
Yeah.
Don't hoard your knowledge. Feel free to give it away. You're not going to lose clients. In fact, you're going to build trust.
That's what this is.
That's what this is. That's what Bullcast is.
Bullcast is all about education. Like, we don't have to be doing this. We enjoy doing this, but we're taking time to really educate and tell our clients about all these different financial things. And that's why we're, you know, almost to 100 episodes sharing our knowledge.
Well, thanks for participating, guys. We should probably close this out, but I did want to give a few pointers on how you can grow your social media reach, which is part of your brand. I would say a podcast like we do. Mm-hmm. It's fairly affordable. I was going to say it's easy to do, but it is hard to fit in a packed day. There's also blogging. You know, if you blog, usually those will jump their way up to the top of Google, and you'll be seen as the go-to in your industry if you blog. I would also say video. Video is king right now. People love videos. Yep. If an image is worth 10,000 words and a video is worth a few million, a couple mil.
Please do not do those videos that are trending right now. That's like you watch and you get all the way to like the last few seconds and then they just don't show you like what they were going to show you.
It kills me.
I hate those so much. I just get mad. Like, oh yeah, well, we're going to show you. And then it just stops.
And there's a reason TikTok is so big right now because it's all video. People like to consume it these days.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be evolving and changing. Like, what works now may not be the hot thing in 10, 15 years. 3 years.
You guys want to bullseye this?
Well, I mean, Cameron, you bullseyed it right up at the front there. We almost did this backwards. You gave your bullseye at the very beginning, and then we ended with the list.
Well, I have one more bullseye then.
Okay.
Yeah, I can bullseye.
You can bullseye. Okay, well, then we're taking it to the bullseye.
Mine is pretty simple. I'd say look at your company's logo, whether it's your personal small business logo, the company you work for, and just ask yourself, what is behind this logo? What does this stand for? Yeah, it's a simple mark, but it tells a story. And a lot of clients, all of your clients are seeing it. So ask yourself, what is behind that logo? And if it's negative things, if it's not good, you need to seriously reevaluate. Pull your team together. Bullseye.
I want to echo off of what you just said. It's also important to have an outside person look at it. You know, when we went down to this group in Hawaii, Cam kind of did a quick little brand audit and just took a look at their Twitter account and their Facebook and their website and really told them what he perceived from the site. And that was good because you think about it, when you are working it and living and breathing it and you're passionate about it, you're gonna see that every time you look at it, but it may not be as clear to an outside person. And that's why it's important to, I think, spend a little money on having that brand that really tells your story and having that person maybe come in and give an outside opinion and tell you what you're telling other people about. And I mean, we help people all the time with these businesses on a financial and legal and tax side, but it's also, you know, the communication, the marketing is so important. So if you have a great business product, whatever it may be, just make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and that people know who you are and you're telling the story that you want to tell. Bullseye.
And as always, I'll just close it out by pointing out to you that you may not be able to be this all-important creative for yourself. So it's always important to make sure that you've surrounded yourself with team members that can complement what you have to offer with whatever they have to offer. Because I, for instance, am just simply not creative. This whole branding thing is really completely lost on me. I know what I like, I know what I don't like, but I have a very limited skill in terms of coming up with something that I think will actually resonate with other people. But hey, doesn't matter because I've got somebody like Cameron on my team. So if you're like me, then you need to go out and find yourself a Cam.
Find you a Cam.
That's my bullseye.
And I know we've talked about a lot of stuff, but I just want to reiterate the one point on the front end. What is a brand? It's the promise you make to your customers, and it's what people say about you when you're not in the room. I just want our listeners to take those 2 points away, and that is it.
So evaluate your brand. Check it out. Let us know.
Double bullseye time.
Yeah.
I will not be doubling up. Ladies and gentlemen, you have made it to the end of yet another episode of the Bullcast Podcast. If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, please feel free to go to your favorite subscription service and sign up to have our podcast beamed directly into your face every single Thursday at noon. If you'd like to find out more about me, Katie, and Cameron, we've got bios on our website. That's bullcastpodcast.com. You can also check out our pictures on the Instagram. That Instagram handle is @bullcastpodcast. And we also, although I don't tweet, there is somebody that's doing some tweeting on the Twitter, and that handle is @bullcastpodcast as well. Finally, if you'd like to find out even more about me, Katie, and Cameron, or maybe find out more about our boss or where we work, our amazing team at Pickler Wealth Advisors, then please feel free to go to that website. That is picklerwealthadvisors.com.
That's advisors with an O.
Not an E.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been given so much. We have bled for you. We have given you our wisdom. We've given our wisdom away for free.
We've branded them.
So please take this and go forth and be merry until the next time you hear from us. I am Court.
I'm Katie.
I'm Cameron.
And we're done.